Giga Texas is 97% done, and I got all the answers to your lingering questions. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. This update is sponsored by Asdome, a pretty remarkable dashcam. More on that at the end, and a quick thanks to my new Patreons, Yavor M, Leonard Schmick, and Bill Vasquez. For everyone else, please subscribe and bell and smack the like button early so YouTube knows to actually show this video to others, blah blah blah, let's go. There were a few more new walls this week, and despite the holidays, signs of progress continue. We're pretty much down to interior completion, which is what is getting the vast majority of the focus. Last week, I asked you all for your burning questions, concerns, and criticisms, and got some great ones to get to. But first, let's get the weekly progress graph out of the way. Yep, no surprises. This is just kind of how it goes, and it'll continue like this until the last bits of the interior are fully accrued. While there are still a few wall sections to close, I've added them to the tracker this week anyhow, since they are fully closed on 3 sides, and the site is more enclosed than Shanghai was when it began production. So, let's get to the Q&A. Tim asks, "Yawn, I thought we already did this episode. No, I want to know how much steel, how much concrete." And I apologize, Tim, I really wanted to get to that this week. The how much concrete question is something I think we can handle, and I've got a few emails out to a few concrete contractors who may be able to get us good numbers to go on, so hopefully I'll have that by next week. When do we think Giga Texas will start delivering vehicles? Boy, my guess is imminently. Honestly, any day now. There's not a lot standing between them and delivery, though we did see some of the equipment being removed from the paint area, so that could cause a delay. It's too bad Elon lied and said he'd be getting out some CyberTrucks by the end of this year. He knew very well that was not possible. Well, the last time I saw Elon say anything about 2021 was in 2019, but in this year he did say it'd be 2022. Hopefully that's correct. But I don't think missing a deadline is the same thing as lying. He really wanted them to be out. You just gotta build a factory first. Are they going to cover the roof with solar panels? Well, yes, Joe, I hope so. That is the plan. I did try desperately on Google to find answers to that without much success. There's a lot of noise in the signal when it comes to searching for Giga Texas solar panels, as you probably found out when you tried to search it. But yes, the plan remains to have solar on the roof, maybe even spelling out the name Tesla. But there will also be, hopefully, the plan is to have additional solar panels at ground level. Dan W58 says, "The building is mostly done, but production will have to wait at least for the drivetrain section to be furnished and equipped." Well, does it? When Giga Shanghai launched, only 10% of the parts were locally sourced. It is very easy to get these products, these components, from Fremont or elsewhere to begin production. What you really need is a paint shop. It'd be nice to have everything else, but the paint shop is critical. Please compare area to the Daikin building that is just north between Kermere and Kickapoo in Waller, Texas. Now that was a good one. I had never heard of this place. It is the world's largest HVAC manufacturer, and it is gigantic. 4.3 million square foot footprint. 4.2, it's very big. It's very big. It's mostly one floor, so it ends up having substantially less floor area, but it is just barely smaller than the footprint of Giga Texas. 2 very large buildings there in Texas. Brian, I think you've shown the scale comparison in previous videos, but can you list out the sizes of the different factories if you have them handy? Well, I do have them handy. Here is that graphic again. The factories are all quite big. Fremont in the 4+ million square foot range. Giga Berlin, not quite sure, but it's a bit smaller than Texas, which is about 9 million square feet. And Giga Shanghai, which is 9.2 million square feet if you include all of the additional buildings. So they're all just massive. RP Feynman wants to know, are you going to start tracking any of the other construction on the site soon? And the answer is absolutely yes. As soon as they break ground, as soon as we can see some footings going in, yes. I've had a couple of false starts on trying to track the property size for the new buildings. We'll get there, and when we do, I will absolutely count those as well. Ed says, for those that have been lost in the Bloomington, Minnesota Mall of America, the Austin Gigafactory is almost 2 times the size. Yeah, it's big. They're both very big, but this is bigger. So, with the questions out of the way, let's take one final look at the sitemap progress and go through it, as we always have, a week. And I will be posting this as its own standalone video from here out, since after this week, there'll be nothing left to see on the main Emerald footprint. So while that's running, a reminder that I recently previewed my 11-year production tracker, link in the description, which shows the 2 most bearish of the 5 models. So if you're interested in following the more aggressive and interesting ones, that's available to my Patreons who sign up or upgrade to the $10 level through the end of December, and for new and upgrading Patreons in the new year at the $25 level. The higher models include more interesting things, new factories, new vehicles, and a lot of stuff you just won't see the Wall Street analysts even considering. And of course, as always, thanks to Jeff Roberts for allowing use of his drone footage. So there it is, and there you go. As of December 27th, Giga Texas, the future birthplace of CyberTruck, is 97% done and will be complete, for lack of a better word, in just a few more weeks. It's already done in some capacity, but also won't be completely done until sometime quite a bit later as more of the factory comes online. At this point, it's more a matter of how you personally decide to count it. So yes, the percentage will continue slowing and drag out into April before hitting 100%, but production is likely to begin any day now. And once it does, the rest of the percentage to go won't matter quite as much. I've taken this long tail into account and will use the lessons learned along the way to hopefully make better predictions for the future that are a bit smoother than this one. Subscribe if you haven't to get notified. Follow me on Twitter at 4K Podcast, and a smack of the thummy thing in either direction if you made it this far. So, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave your wisdom and suggestions in the comments below. And as always, my friends, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I simply cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop. So, Asdome reached out to me and asked if I would cover their Dashcam, and I said, I don't know, maybe. What is it? What's it all about? So I looked at the Amazon reviews, and they were good, but then I looked at the YouTube reviews, the people who actually had it in their hands, and it looked really good. And I was like, well, most people who have a Tesla do not need a Dashcam. But then I realized, yeah, most of my viewers probably either don't have a Tesla yet or have a second car for which they could probably use a Dashcam. So let's take a look here. So what it is it's a 4K Dashcam. You can record 2K. You can get the 1080p into the cab, another 1080p out the back for high def. You could use it for your drag racing. Point the back one out the side to watch people get left in the dust, I suppose. But what this really is to me is what a Dashcam would be if it was a smartphone. Because you've got an app, you can actually look at all of the, you can look at the data on the phone. It's Wi-Fi enabled, so if you want to share clips, you can just do that. And it comes with all different kinds of power adapters. So you can plug it into the USB, you can plug it into the cigarette lighter, you can plug it into, you can wire it in so it's got an always-on feature, it's got bump protection, it's got kind of everything. And the price to value ratio is good. I mean, this is, I don't know, I like it. And because it's on Amazon, link in the description, of course, if you don't like it, return it. Free returns. 30 days, whatever, 90, whatever it is, you can return it. But I don't think you will, because it looks good. And if you want to know how good it looks, I'm shooting on it right now. Yeah, let's zoom out. And this is my studio. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I just think I don't know, I like it. I honestly like it. So there you go.